What about the dwarf?
Worthless. Cut his throat.
Wait. Let's discuss this.
And then chop off his We'll sell it for a fortune. The dwarf's has magic powers.
Wait.
Now, I've covered a lot, and I mean a lot, of bizarre stories here on The Quartering and on Midwestly too, my second channel, and this one just might take the cake. Now, I've got two kind of bizarre stories mixed in today among all other weekend news, but this one about Joe Rogan, John McAfee, and two dwarves in a brothel might be the most bizarre thing I've ever read on the internet. Now, Joe Rogan has made headlines over the years, having some spicy guests and for things that happen on his podcast. And most recently, Joe has agreed to go on Spotify exclusively, a move that I hope works out for him. I understand, YouTube has its problems. In my opinion, Spotify has the same problems YouTube does. But I'm sure they handed him a giant bag of money. I think it was $100 million or something like that. So get that money. Somebody offered me $5 million to go on the world's tiniest platform exclusively. I'd probably take it too. Get that money, turn that money into power and change for good. Now, John McAfee has said some bizarre, crazy things over the years.
I mean, I have taken every drug in the world, Father, and nothing compared to this. When I was released a year later, I began to look at everyone as food. I began to kidnap people and eat their brains while still alive.
I've been a bad boy, Father. And he is a divisive figure. And so, you might be able to take this with a grain of salt. However, John McAfee has remained pretty consistent in his story as to why he hasn't been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, just the other day, Joe Rogan was talking about John McAfee in a positive light. So I don't know. I just don't know. And then I tried to find some deep lore here. I dug deep, boys and girls. I went way deep into the annals of Twitter to try and find any evidence to support John McAfee's hilariously heinous claims about Joe Rogan in a recent interview with Ethan Ralph. And I found a post from over a year ago where he tells the same story. That's right. John McAfee. Well, first I'll go to the story. This one over on theralphretort.com. Love him or hate him. Ethan Ralph, he's entertaining. Joe Rogan's shock. John McAfee alleges twin dwarf diddle in salacious, spicy party tale. The usually bombastic Joe Rogan was oddly silent on social media today when he was confronted with the scandalous story from John McAfee, McAfee's antivirus founder, John McAfee. In a live broadcast earlier today, a seemingly bath salt-fueled McAfee was asked about why Joe Rogan wouldn't have him on his show. His response was not disappointing. In the following transcript of an interview between McAfee and Ethan Ralph, McAfee alleges that he and Rogan are on poor terms due to a twin dwarf stealing incident in Bangkok.
Wait, is that the science library? Or is that the one?
No, that's Noble.
That way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want the science one then?
Well, I was thinking either the science one or I'm not sure if I should go to that one or not. Oh, sorry. Did I? Wait. Did he just get out of my back? Hey! Hey, get back here! Hey!
First of all, I want to be very clear. I want to be very, very clear. As long as everyone was consenting, I think it's hilarious. This is just to rib Joe a little bit. Like, I could see this being true. I could also see John McAfee making this completely up. But I've got more evidence. Let's go to the transcript, all right? Ethan, I think we've got about 12 minutes scheduled with you here. If you want to go a little bit longer, John McAfee, you're cheating, my friend. You have 9, but I'll give you 10. Ethan laughs. Now, a couple of people did want me to submit this question about why Joe Rogan won't have you on his show anymore. Apparently, that's a thing. I didn't know if you wanted to go there or if that's John replies, interrupting, basically. Well, I'd be happy to. This is more about him than me. I'm a reasonable person. So in Bangkok, 2016, we were there. Now, I had, on my own accord, brought through this massive, huge hotel, to the top of a hotel, the presidential suite, brought 2 twin dwarfs. Twin effing dwarfs, he said. Ethan replies, that's hard to find. John Mcafee says, dang right. You find 2 effing twin GD dwarfs anywhere on this planet, heh, you call me. All right, so now women very attractive, under 30, and Thai for F's sake. So under 30, okay, so as far as, I would say, that's safe to say they're over 18. Now the story has moved into hilarity's sake. They are trained in the arts of pleasure that you could not even effing imagine. So now I brought in these GD dwarfs, laughs maniacally. What did he bring? Jack poop. Now after 2 hours of intense partying, this MFer leaves with my what? My 2 dwarfs. Now you think I'm going to go on his show? F you, Joe. I mean, F you. I want the dwarves back. Whatever you did with them, I promise it couldn't have been as much fun as I could have. Ethan says, well, that does help elucidate the issue. Greatly so. I have to say you shed some new light on that. Did Joe Rogan actually steal twin dwarfs paid for by John Mcafee after a night of partying in with the presidential campaigner? Rogan has not denied stealing the dwarfs, so it's all up to speculation at this point. Sadly, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing John Mcafee smoking a giant J with Rogan on his show anytime soon. So I went to Twitter. I went to Twitter to investigate because there's I'm a lot of things, okay, but I am a thorough reporter. I mean, you could say what you want about me, but that's just, you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. Now, I looked to see if there were any images, any pictures of Joe Rogan in Bangkok at some point somewhere, and certainly there are some pictures of Joe Rogan and John Mcafee together. I don't know where and when this might be, but it's tough to say. All the way back to May, we've seen presidential candidate John Mcafee accuses Joe Rogan of stealing Thai twin dwarfs after lavish party. And this is all the way back to May 13th. I mean, I don't know. Do we know? Has there been any evidence? I mean, curiously, has Joe Rogan come out to disavow? We could see John Mcafee consistent in his story all the way back 2019. Lots of followers been asking why I don't go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Been on with Joe Rogan. I'm afraid I offended him. Have reached out over the past 4 years to apologize, but no response from Joe. He carries a grudge. To someone replies, he just mentioned you on a previous podcast. Seemed to like you. No signs of any grudge. John replies, he buried the offense in his unconsciousness. Involved in a party in Bangkok, attended by trisex trannies, albino twins from Romania, 3 goats, a boa constrictor, and a dominatrix from Russia, 2 anal fisting instructors, and a 26-year-old. Wow.
I once brought a jackass and a honeycomb into a brothel.
Silence! What happened next?
I don't know. Is it possible? He goes on to say, didn't offend him on the show. It happened in Bangkok. Joe wanted to visit a high-end brothel. I was fine with it. Even the goats, the jellyfish, and the albino girls of questionable gender. But I was put off by the treatment of the boa constrictor. John goes on to say, I cannot tell you because it reveals part of Joe's life that I have no right to make public. What do you think? Do you think Joe Rogan was there? I can't really find any, I can't find any evidence of that. But I think the internet is going to look and try to find something. There is some evidence out there of this, I am sure. Joe Rogan, was he, first thing we need to find out is, was he in Bangkok, first of all? A brief Twitter search. Joe Rogan, seen this in Bangkok, Joe? And here we have Men's Journal. Oh, it's gone. I need to know. I need to know. Did Joe Rogan steal John McAfee's twin dwarfs? Did you, Joe? The allegations have been laid forth for years. Will you prove your innocence? Or will you own up to the theft of John McAfee, presidential candidate's twin dwarfs? The ball's in your court, Joe Rogan. I think you know you have to do what's right. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.